Welcome back to the Michigan Sports Media Network. After a week off, we took a little spring break over here, but we are back. And today, of course, as usual, I have our lead Tigers reporter Brad Thompson and our lead Red Wings reporter James Gullett with me today. Um, Things are kind of in full swing when it comes to the Tigers right now. Obviously, opening day was not too long ago, so I'm sure Brad will have quite a bit for us. So the floor is yours, Brad.
All right, thanks. Welcome back, guys. Um, hey, Tigers are playing some pretty darn good baseball. They just wrapped up the game with the Yankees. I thought it was almost just a textbook kind of win for them. Uh, they got great starting pitching again. Their bullpen was lights out again, and they did it this time. They won the game this time without Riley Green doing anything. Torkelson, who I'll talk about here in a second, was he didn't do much, but that's okay. The guy's been absolutely outstanding. You got the 3-run homer from Baez. I'm sorry, Ibanez. This is a guy who I really haven't been thrilled about, but these are the kind of things that good baseball teams do. It really is. You get the 3-run homer from a guy that's really not a big name right now. So if we really want to look over all of this now, I mean, yeah, they got swept by the Dodgers. Who's not going to get swept by the Dodgers? Philly, actually, the Dodgers aren't in first place right now. Not that it matters, but Philly's done a number on them. But you tell me, if they go out to the West Coast, they go 2-4 with playing a team like the Dodgers and a team like the Mariners, who some have winning the West this year, or at least making the playoffs. 2-4. I think anybody would really take that. And there, with a play here on the replay, or if Colt Keith doesn't pull another bonehead, error at second base, this team could have easily came home 3-3. But they're not. That's why you play the game. They did what they're supposed to do against Chicago. All right, Chicago is not a good ball club, but what was impressive is they grinded out that last, yesterday. It was the gritty Tigers. It's what we've always talked about, for the last year and so. They worked the at bats. They get the guys on base. Trey Sweeney, who didn't have to hustle his butt off down to first base. That's huge. In fact, of course, Torkelson's hit was huge, but that was a key play in that inning. I mean, Sweeney got down that line. If he doesn't get down that line, we might not be talking about that win yesterday. So they played some darn good baseball. I want to throw some stats out here, which I personally think is big. Um, so far, or I'm sorry, yesterday's game, you know, they had the White Sox pitching 141 pitches total. They threw a total of 128. Now, this has been a trend for them. They've been having the other teams throw more pitches, all right, than what they've been doing. And what that collaterally does is when you get into the bullpen, you get to day three or if you have a 4-game series in game four, that bullpen is used up for the other team. It really is. So it gives them an advantage. It really does. So if they're getting deep into other teams' bullpens by game two, game three, it bodes well for them. Something that they're doing very well too is they're averaging 3.9 pitches per game so far this year. Okay, last year. The number one team in baseball that had that, I'm not sure who it was. I got to go back. I want to say it was the Yankees, but it was a 4.0. All right, that was the league lead. So they've been grinding out the at bats. They've been playing AJ Hinch style baseball. They've been going long into the counts, and it's really proved. It's really pulled off for them. I mean, this team is 6-4, and scared Tarek Skubal is 0-2. Okay, so we're going, wow, and a game like the Yankees today, it's just a good. This is a good baseball team. All right, uh, is it a great baseball team? That remains to be seen. But it is a good baseball team that I see becoming great. Let's think about this for a second. Torres isn't back. Vierling isn't back. I'm not really. I really hope Parker Meadows gets back. You know my thoughts on that. I am not sure he's going to return this year. If he returns, oh my goodness. Now let's think of a lineup here. Listen to this order. You can go right now when Torres gets back and everybody gets healthy. Sans Meadows. You've got an order of Glaber Torres leading off. You've got Riley Green hitting second. You've got Spencer Torkelson hitting third. Kerry Carpenter hitting fourth. Okay. Verling hitting fifth. All right. The way Trey Sweeney's, I mean, then you can go with what you want to go with here. And don't forget Perez is coming back too. So this is exciting. Now let's get to the two key players right now. If so far, I don't want to be the antithesis of what I've been preaching about. It's a long season, but your co-MVPs right now would be Casey Mize and Spencer Torkelson. Okay, Casey Mize, he did a lot of off-season work at a place called Driveline. Okay, that's a complex in Kent, Washington, where amateurs all the way through up to the top pros go. It pays dividends. And right now, Casey Mize's splitter is unhittable. Okay, that's what he was not. That is why he was the number one pick in the draft years back, was because of that split finger. And now he's got that back rolling. He's pissed off in a good way because he didn't like the way last season that is. So he came into spring training saying, "I'm pissed. I want that spot in the rotation," because quite frankly, he was battling for one. And now you can make a case that he's the Tigers' small sample size. He's the Tigers' best pitcher right now. And you're talking at a guy right now that's number 5 in the rotation. Okay, Scooble, Flaherty's throwing great. Olson's throwing great. With Jackson Joe, I hope people understand that he's going to have days like yesterday. Okay, he's going to have days where his command is not good. Okay, where he's going to struggle this year. This is not something where you can just say, "Oh yeah, this guy's going to win 15 games." This guy, is he going to win Rookie of the Year? That remains to be seen. So we have really got to be patient with Jackson Jobe, and we've got to have some real realistic expectations now. Don't go just saying, "Oh yeah," don't take him for granted because he's gonna have his struggles. But with Mize, I mean, it's been unbelievable. He went 6 innings today, and if you can get 6 innings, great innings out of any starter on this ball club, that bullpen was incredible last year. It has the ability to be the best bullpen in baseball. It really does. And right now, it's showing that you get to the 6th inning, then you've got to face a Tyler Holton, you've got to face a Will Vest, a Bo Brisky who's had his struggles. But I think I watched that game in the last inning there, Tommy Canley. Oh my God, man, it's just boom. So there's a lot of great things right there. Spencer Torkelson, it's not like I was looking to have this guy fail. It's not like look at me, I'm right, okay. But Torkelson, what he's done is he has adjusted his swing back to his college days. He was spread out. Okay, he was spread out. Now he's more upright a little bit. He's shortened the stance up. Okay, he's got his hands in different position. I'm going to geek out on you guys right now. He's got his hands in a different position where that elbow is almost clicking the belt. It's keeping his bat more in the zone. Okay, which is giving him a lot. When you're in the zone, that bat is more in the zone. The greater opportunity to hit the ball harder, and his hard hit ball rate is off the charts. He is right around right now. He is at. I mean, when you get to a 32-degree launch angle, that's perfect. That's what you want. And right now, he has been in that 20 to 32-inch launch angle on a regular basis. So, like I said, I don't want to geek out with you guys, okay? But what this guy's done, everybody's saying, he's done, and what he's done is he has saved the Tigers money, and this is what I mean. His performance so far, small sample size, his performance so far has saved the Tigers the money that they wanted to spend on Alex Bregman. Okay. Now they can take all that money. Think about this for a second. They can take all that money with Bregman, save it, put into an escrow account, basically. And guess what? When Scooble comes up, you've got half of what he's going to require. So that is the best thing that Torkelson has contributed to this ball club outside of what he's done. Okay, Mize and Torkelson, in my opinion, has all of a sudden been two of the biggest free agent signings for the Tigers. If you know what I mean by that, not much was being counted on them. So all of a sudden, the Tigers have signed a top 20 pitcher. Okay, Tigers have signed a top 20 hitter if they keep this up in Mize and Torkelson. Money saved, put towards Scooble. That is absolutely incredible. Uh, I got to take the good with the bad though. And when I'm saying bad, Colt Keith is not a good baseball player right now. Okay, his bat, he's there to hit. Okay, and you know what they say: if you can hit, they can find you a position. Well, he's not hitting. If he does start hitting, second base is foreign to him. Okay, he cost them the Seattle game. He did with another bonehead play. Okay, he rushed, he threw it, ball goes down the left field line. That game was Scooble on the mound. Okay, they lose 3-1. All right, today. Okay, routine ground ball to his left. They got a guy on first and third. It eats him up. Okay, completely eats him up. They would be out of the inning. Okay, instead throws the ball away, run score. Then they have. I'm sorry. Then they have guy on first and third. If Volpe gets on base, it scores 6-2 now. If Volpe gets on base, guess who's up next? Aaron Judge, the best hitter in baseball. So you cannot have Colt Keith doing things like that, playing second base, and think that this ball club is going to be the benefactor of it. You've got Torres coming up, okay? So, okay, Torres coming up. Well, we'll move Keith back to first base. Well, hello, Spencer Torkelson's there now, okay? Well, we can have Keith DH. Well, you're not hitting. You're going to take a right-handed bat and Henry Malloy out? I'm not too sure about that. So maybe Keith's going to go down. I don't say right now, but Keith, well, when Torres comes back, Keith probably should go down, figure some things out. The game is too fast for him right now. The game's got to slow down for him. And he's not a good baseball player right now. He is. Hey, it's okay if you're not hitting, and you're not, you're okay there, but you're not helping the Tiger. In fact, you're detrimental to him. All right, your defense is suspect and liability. Cost you once, almost cost you twice. Don't want to go too far off in a tangent, but he definitely needs to think about going down. Last great piece of news is Javi Baez he's playing well. Okay, he's well is better than horrible. All right. Nobody gets the ball to tag down in second base better than Javi Baez. He's been doing that his whole career. He's playing a solid shortstop. Got on base, led off the inning yesterday, set the tone in that last inning with a base hit. Now he's got he hit last year. He had a 262 on base percentage. Remember we talked about a second lowest in Tiger history. If Javi can get to a 350 on base percentage, that is huge for the Tigers. So they're playing. This is a good baseball team. Their minor league system is unbelievable. Okay, so we have a good baseball team. When we get these players back, we can and Torkelson and Mize keep doing what we're doing. We have a definite playoff contender baseball team, and we've got a team that can contend in the postseason and go a long ways. I want to temper the enthusiasm. So that's really all I got on the Tigers. Good things ahead on the horizon. You Twitter morons out there, okay? Relax. This team can stay. It's the 2-2 factor for me. 2 games above 500, 2 games under 500. When they get to May, when they get these players back, look out because this team's going to be dangerous. So with that, turn it back to you guys.
Yeah, and that's really good stuff there, Brad. Like you said, it's always nice when your former first overall picks start playing like former first overall picks. But with that being said, a little bit of Tigers stuff from me. We actually are giving away 2 free tickets to the Orioles-Tigers game on April 25th. All you have to do to be entered into the contest is go to our website, donate $1 or subscribe for $1 a month. All of your emails will come straight to me, and we will just choose at random. Good luck. But with that being said, I will pass it over to you, James, for our Red Wings update. If you're watching this, it's because you love sports. If you love sports, why not show that love with some new gear, like the 2 jerseys behind me? Fanatics has a lot of stuff on sale right now. And if you go down in the description, click the link of whatever team that you want, it'll take you to the Fanatics page, buy some stuff, and we get a small portion. It'll help us out, and you'll get some discounts on some good gear.
Um, Thank you, and I would just say, hey, hey, Tigerstown, because the buzz around the city has been the Tigers and not the Red Wings. They are looking better of late. However, they are treading water. Even on a two-game win streak, it has not made a difference in the standings, unfortunately. Since we've talked last, they've actually fallen further behind because we are chasing the Montreal Canadiens and they are on a five-game win streak. So unfortunately, not only do the Red Wings need to string some wins together, which they have, it's a moot point when the Canadiens just keep winning as well. We are 6 points behind with only 6 games to go. The one little bit of good news, because obviously we wish that gap was closer for this, but our next game is tomorrow, Tuesday, as of pending on whenever this airs, Tuesday night, and it is against Montreal head to head. So we can at least, if we win, pull within four, but that's still 4 points with 5 games. It's still not looking good. Mathematically, they still have a chance. They're not eliminated, but I believe it was 1.8% chance last time I crunched the numbers. It's not looking good because Montreal's hot. It's like we started playing better and they took notice and they started playing even better than that. So unfortunately, we got to hope within the next 6 games that Montreal loses four and we win three. Or I'm sorry, we would actually have to win more than that. No, 4-4. We'd have to win four, they would have to lose four out of six. It's a big ask, but we are mathematically eliminated from the first wild card spot. So Montreal is really the only team that we are trying to go up against right now. We do not have an easy schedule remaining. I know I've harped on that over the past few podcasts. We still have a tough schedule. However, to our credit, we just beat two teams that are very damn good. Both the Carolina Hurricanes and the Florida Panthers are playoff teams, and those are the two teams we beat for this two-game win streak. Tomorrow night we have Montreal, and then on Thursday we play the Panthers again. So on paper, the Panthers are a hard opponent, but we just beat them. So maybe we can rally something together here. But even if we do, Montreal also has to kind of fall apart. Otherwise, it might be like the Lions from 2 years ago. Um, it might be three. The year after, when we ended the season 8-1, it just wasn't enough, and we found out before we played Green Bay that we were mathematically eliminated from the playoffs prior to kickoff, even though we were like 8-2 the final 10 games of that year or whatever. It's like even if we get hot, even if we win out, there's still a chance we don't make it because we just didn't do enough in the totality of the season. Some of those games in early March, late February that may not have seemingly mattered at the time matter a great deal at this point. With that being said, I do want to touch on um, 1 second, my apologies. Goal differential here. Um, for what it's worth, the Montreal Canadiens, who have that final wild card spot, and the Wings have the same exact goal differential on the season at -20. So they are playing, I will say, playoff-esque hockey, but one of the main deciding factors is Montreal has a significant amount of overtime losses over the Red Wings regulation losses. And even squeaking out that one extra point per game over a few games is right now the difference between us. Um, they only have two more wins, so then they have at least two more overtime losses. But even with that being said, they are sitting at 85 points currently. There's one, two, three, four, four teams right now over 100 points on the season. So, I mean, in retrospect, we're still not that competing top tier team that anyone's concerned about playing. No one's saying, oh shit, the Wings are coming to town tonight, unfortunately. But it's a double-edged sword. I will say, in terms of a maybe not quite an olive branch, but in terms of somewhat of a peace offering, I will say some of these prospects in the minors are looking pretty damn impressive. And I am looking forward to seeing them come up. But my big question, and it's a question that no one can answer, is when the hell are they going to come up? Because they are crushing it in their realms. Some are playing at the college level, some are playing at the Grand Rapids Griffins and AHL level. But good for them. I don't really care if the Griffins have success. No offense to the Griffins. I mean, I realize you guys are doing your thing, but I want these guys to come up here, and even if these last few games are kind of futile for our positioning, because if Montreal keeps winning, we're out. It doesn't matter. I would like to see some of these guys come up and get even just 3, 4 games at the major league level and see what they can do against NHL players, as almost treating the final week or two of the season as a preseason or an open training camp, so to speak. The game at the NHL level is significantly faster, and I would just kind of, like I said, use the games, if, especially if we lose on tomorrow. If we lose tomorrow, there's zero reason not to do this. We I 5 games left. If we lose tomorrow, we would have to win out and Montreal lose out. So we are essentially eliminated pretty much tomorrow if we do not win the game. So if we don't, I would like to see some of the guys come up, like I said, get their feet wet, see if they're ready at this level. And if they're not, it will show, and then we know why they're where they are. But I mean, if they come up, maybe they can make a better case for their roster spot next year. And I'd say probably by this time next podcast, we might be looking at mock drafts, unfortunately. And with that, I will send it back to you guys.
Yeah, that's tough. Red Wings fans, we're all mourning together. I will say it would have been so cool. Well, I can't say would have been. It would be so cool if all 4 Detroit teams made the playoffs in the same year. That would be amazing, but it seems like they fucked it this time. So, with that being said, we have some more not so good news to put on you guys, which we already know. Michigan State, Michigan, out of the tournament. Obviously, this happened last week, but we're just catching up. Both teams beat by Auburn, so it seemed Auburn had the state of Michigan's number, at least in basketball this year. So, unfortunately, they do not advance. If you want to hear more, go check out our BT's Ballers podcast, the latest episode that will be up by the time this is up. They went more in depth on those matchups and specifically MSU. So if you want to hear more about that, go check that out. But with that being said, I got some positive news for you. The Detroit Pistons have clinched a playoff berth for the first time since 2018. I remember pulling this jersey out and just to show this guy was the best player on the team the last time we made the playoffs. Blake Griffin averaged 24 points per game and was the best player the last time we made the playoffs 7 years ago. Okay. Now, obviously, we had a huge turnaround this offseason. And, it wasn't that we made a huge trade or made some big free agent move. We just got some good pieces. Guys took the next step that were already on the team. It just kind of seemed that it all worked out for the Pistons this season to go from 14 wins to they're sitting at 43 right now. And actually, I am writing an article about this currently, but if they win the next 4 games, they will be second all time in best win total difference from the year before. Do you guys have a guess on who's number 1? You wouldn't. It's kind of wild. The 2008-2009 Celtics. They went from I believe it was 20 wins to 62 wins in one offseason. A win total of 42. The difference was 42. The Pistons, mind you, if they win out and they win, I think it's 47 games as of now, they will only have 33. So just think about that. That Celtics team took a huge step. But with that being said, obviously the Pistons had one of the best, year-to-year comebacks in terms of win-loss in NBA history, which is just awesome to see. Cade Cunningham obviously had an amazing season. He is one of two players this year to average 25 points, 5 rebounds, and at least 9 assists. And the other one is Nikola Jokic, who is the best basketball player on the planet. So think about that. Cade Cunningham is in some rare company this season, and most likely and should get a first-team All-NBA award to put on his belt for the future, because we know it's not going to be the last one. If he's not first team, he better be second team, because damn it, I don't know if there's two other guards that were point guards that were better than him this year. But with that being said, as of right now, the Pistons are the 6th seed. They have a chance to move up to the 5 seed. I don't necessarily see it happening, but as of right now, they are playing the Knicks in the playoffs first round, which we actually play them this Thursday, and I will be there. I'm very excited for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. I went to the Spurs game a couple weeks ago, as you guys know, and that was a shit show. So I am hoping that this Knicks game is going to be a lot better. But with that being said, like I mentioned before, I have an article coming out about the matchup, going in depth. But real quick, let me hit you with some stats, okay? The Knicks are scary, don't get me wrong. They're deep. They got Brunson, Cat, Bridges, Hart, OG Anunoby. And they got more guys coming off the bench. However, stats can tell you that this series might be closer than most think. Like, I came into this, writing this article, thinking to myself, this isn't going to be close. It's probably going to be 4-1, right? Just looking at the player names on paper. I'm like, it's 4-1, maybe 4-2. But then you look at the deeper stats, okay? The Knicks currently rank 9th in scoring, 24th in rebounding, 4th in field goal percentage, and 2nd in defensive rating, okay? Pretty solid. But the Pistons are not far behind, okay? They rank 11th in points, 10th in rebounds, 13th in field goal percentage, and 4th in defensive rating. Pretty similar teams, I would say, statistically. I think the big difference is going to be the Knicks rank 24th in rebounding with a player who is top 3 in rebounds per game. So that tells me when Cat's not on the floor, they ain't getting shit from us. When Cat is not on the floor, Duran should be going absolutely bananas in terms of the boards. So just some things to take into account. I know that matchup is not set in stone, but it is most likely what's going to happen. The Pistons would have to win out, and some other stuff would have to happen for that matchup to not be the case. But with that being said, I'm hoping that pray for me, guys. I'm hoping everyone comes to the game healthy on Thursday so that I can see what will likely be a playoff matchup. But with that being said, do you guys have anything to add for the Pistons?
Yeah. I welcome playing the New York Knicks. You watch some credible people on the TV, media guys, and also former players, and a lot of them are saying, "Hey, they think the Pistons can pull this off." So hopefully, and even if I'm the Pistons, I'm making sure we stay in that 6. All right, because it is a great matchup. If I'm not mistaken, I think we're 2-1 against them right now. So I think the matchups are great, especially like you said on the rebounding end. But yeah, it's a good matchup. And going back to, and this is what I see, because this team is definitely on the rise. They've got some things to accomplish, and with that the Bad Boys team, almost pre-Bad Boys in 1986, the Pistons went up against the Knicks. Okay, Silverdome had a little bit of collapse in there with rain and snow, so game 7 with the Knicks got moved to Joe Louis Arena. All right, this is way before you guys were even on the planet. Okay. But what happened was the Pistons, especially with Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer, uh, they took the Knicks. I think the Pistons actually were a 6 seed, okay, and the Knicks were a 3 seed. Wow, parallels there. And they took the Knicks to 7 games, and it came down to like the last 2 minutes. And this was Isaiah against the guy who was in the Hall of Fame, Bernard King. And they were trading basket after basket after basket. And it was tooth and nail, and Pistons were fighting, okay, in a good way. So they lost that game, but they learned a lot from it. Then all of a sudden they took the next step in '87 with the Celtics. Okay, got into those battles. '88, okay, Celtics, Lakers. All right, so this could be just a parallel, just a coincidence of Pistons going on their journey, learning how to get to the top of the mountain. So I welcome the Knicks. I would say if they play the Knicks, I'm going to give the Knicks in 7. Uh, Believe me, it pains me to say it, but I would take the Knicks in 7. But I would not be surprised if the Pistons not only win that series, okay, they got a chance to go deep. They could get knocked out in the first round, which I think they do. But the steal one from the Tigers, let's not let the Pistons get hot because they could surprise some people. So that's about all I got.
Yeah, and that's a good point, especially with the Knicks. The thing, like, they scare me, but it's really just based on what, if everything goes well for them, they could really, really hurt us. I mean, I feel like Jalen Brunson is going to give us some issues. We've lacked perimeter defense all year. We all know Asar Thompson's good, but outside of him, we really don't have any great perimeter defenders. Cade's decent, but I wouldn't say he's, on that upper echelon right now. But with that being said, OG Anunoby could really, really cause some issues with Cade as well, with his length and his physicality on defense. I also believe that the Knicks have some players that could really cause some fits in terms of who's guarding who in the matchups because, like I mentioned before, they have Brunson, they have Bridges, they have Anunoby, they have Hart, and they have Karl Anthony Towns. Now, everyone but Karl Anthony Towns can pretty much play all the other 4 positions. So that kind of worries me a little bit because we already lack perimeter defending. Now, what I would do is I'm putting Asar Thompson on Brunson all game. Lock his ass up. Asar Thompson is not going to lock him up, but he could hold him down a little bit. And with his, kind of like I mentioned with Anunoby earlier, his length and his physicality, I think he could, hold Brunson down a little bit. And then with that being said, I think you put Cade on Anunoby or Bridges. I'd probably put him on Bridges because Bridges is more of a true offensive talent. But Anunoby can wow some people with his off-ball stuff too. So, I mean, he's a pretty good basketball player as well, and there's a reason they paid him. But outside of that, I'll be honest, Karl Anthony Towns is the thing I'm most worried about because he's 7 foot, guys. He can shoot. He's shooting 43% from the three-point line this year, right? Who's going to guard him? Okay, I know Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart's 6'8". I mean, he's going to get babied. I'm sorry, but he's going to. And Karl Anthony Towns is going to be able to shoot over his ass all night long. Who else could we put on him? Jalen Duren, solid. I think we'd be better off with that, but he's still only 6'10". So just something to think about there. I do think that Karl Anthony Towns will be the difference maker in the series. Obviously, Jalen Brunson could have a big game here and there, but I think we'll be okay with him. But like I said, Cat, I think, is going to cause the biggest problems. But with that, James, do you have anything to add?
Not into the intellectual conversation that you guys know, but the only thing I would like to add is I wanted to give a shout out to the Pistons, as we're talking about the Pistons, for allowing the Red Wings to share their stadium because since it has been opened on September 5th of 2017, the Pistons have now made the playoffs twice and the Red Wings have yet to. So I just wanted to give a shout out to the Pistons for letting the Red Wings use LCA.
Yeah, and that's a good point there. Hopefully, the the Red Wings can get back. But with that being said, we will now move on to some Lions talk, and this is probably going to be the longest segment of the day because we kind of have a lot to catch up on. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but Brad Holmes had some comments at the annual meetings that kind of tell us what's going on. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of go down the list and just report what I see. So, first things first, Brad Holmes said that they got who they really wanted, but the money made it hard. Had to let go of some of our own guys to make it work, and he said he still didn't think we'd be able to even get the guys that we got. DJ Reed and Levi Onwuzurike, to be specific, he did not think we were going to re-sign Levi, and he did not think that Reed was going to be able to be signed for $16 million. He kind of had $16 million as the cap, but he said in his own words, $16 million was just the get-in price. So he felt really good that they got Reed. He is exactly what they're looking for. Fits like a glove is what Brad Holmes used, the adjective he used to describe him. They are still looking around, though. They are not done completely, but the high money guys are pretty much impossible. So my Von Miller dream is likely dead, unfortunately. I guess there is a small chance he signs for a cheaper deal, but I just really don't see it. He said Zadarius Smith and him are keeping in contact still, but it's still looking like a long shot. They'll be able to sign him as well. He did say he was pretty upset that they had to get rid of him to begin with, but they just literally could not afford him. Which, we talked about already. We kind of knew this. Brad is looking for the future. We can't really go sign a guy to a 2-year, $20 million a year deal when we have all these, extensions coming up. So it makes it really, really hard. But I will say Brad Holmes said that he is very excited about the young guys who really didn't play that much, like let's say a Mekhi Wingo and an Ennis Rakestraw. Those are just 2 rookies from our last year class that are pretty good players that didn't play for, injuries or depth or whatever the case may be. Both of them were mostly injuries, but he's excited to get them on the field. He said pretty much everybody seems like they're not necessarily taking that next step, but seems like they're progressing as they should. And at this point right now, they're just looking to add depth and competition. So like I said before, Von Miller's probably not likely going to happen. But Holmes did say he felt that we could have won the Super Bowl last year if we were healthy. And of course we weren't, but he's, on this thought process of why go spend a bunch of money to try and force a guy in here that doesn't really fit financially when we already have a Super Bowl team, which I kind of understand. But the Eagles are getting better, the Vikings are getting better, the Bears are getting better, and so on and so forth. So I still am we'll have to see how the draft goes before I feel really confident about the team that we have. And obviously we still have great players, but just some stuff needs to happen, I think. And he also mentioned, as we all pretty much know at this point, is they're likely picking up JMO's 5th-year option. And pretty much that's it in terms of the annual meetings. Just, guys, we'll be okay. I mean, I think we all can kind of understand those words and understand where he's coming from and realize, like, okay, that makes sense, right? We just don't have the money. We cannot physically make that work. So we're going to have to do what we have to do. And I can't even believe these words are coming out of my mouth, but it kind of sucks he drafts so fucking well because we can't do shit now. We are stuck. Like, essentially, guys, for the next 3 to 5 years, we are stuck with what we have right now. That can make you feel good. That can make you feel bad. I guess that just depends on how you are. I don't love that because if you think about depth, I mean, as the years go by, salaries are going to get bigger and we're going to have basically no money to do anything with. So take it with a grain of salt. Take that with what you will. But that just kind of scares me a little bit for the future. And hopefully that also means that as the cap rises, we will be restructuring guys, specifically Jared Goff, and Taylor Decker and things like that. So money will come off the books, so don't freak out, but just something to think about. But with that being said, James, I will pass it over to you, and you can have the floor.
Um, I did not see his press conference, but you bring up a lot of good points. And I personally feel great about the state of the Lions. I am perfectly fine with being stuck with a 15-2 roster. I'm not going to complain about that, even though it does make some difficult decisions. Like I would have really loved to keep Zeitler, but obviously that didn't work out. Um, but all in all, I agree with him. We could have. I don't want to say easily because it's never easy to win a Super Bowl. We've never done it before, but I think we would have easily been the favorites had we been healthy. And I know, as you guys have mentioned all the time, the people we interact with on X, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it, says so what? Every team has injuries. Just look at the numbers and know not every team had 22 guys on IR. That they actually didn't. Um, but I'm sure you guys have seen the video of Hutch running full speed, and things are just looking good. I have faith that our rookies and sophomores from last year will take another step in the right direction. I think even keeping the same players, Terrion Arnold should be better this upcoming year. Brian Branch should be better this upcoming year. Um, McNeil, when he gets back, should benefit from having a little bit more depth on that D line, or I should say, healthy on the D line. My big question, and I've brought it up a few times, so I'll keep it short. I just want to see us add more on the offensive line, specifically guard. But we have a whole draft to do that. I know I've mentioned Booker out of Alabama. That would be a godsend if we somehow got him. I don't see him falling to 28, but as we speak, and um, like you said, I'm working on a Brad Holmes draft day, I would say, article because there's been times where he's traded up for Terrion Arnold, he traded up for Jameson Williams. There's been times he traded back, trading from 6 to 12 to get Gibbs. So just because we hold pick 28 right now does not mean we're actually going to pick at pick 28. So I'm just looking forward to seeing what happens, and it's just 2 weeks away. So I mean, we are getting right there to the draft. And with that, that's pretty much all I have on the lines right now.
Yeah, and that's a good point. We are really getting close to draft day. The one thing I will say is I personally do not care about guard at all. I think we're fine. I am worried about edge. Edge, edge, edge. I would take three fucking edges in the first 3 rounds just because I'm so worried about it. Who's going to start opposite of Hutch? We literally don't have one right now. That's fucking scary. Like, we just cut Zadarius Smith. Like, we don't have nobody. We got fucking the guys. So right now, starting opposite of Hutch is a bunch of fucking guys that we were all talking about would never start on a fucking NFL team if it weren't for all our injuries. Just saying. That scares me a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like we've got Marcus Davenport as our starting edge defender. Okay, well, hope he can play fucking more than 3 games next year. I mean, So just kind of a little piece there with what you said, and I do think guard is still a need. But if we're fucking, if we're gonna pay Graham Glasgow $8.5 million and we're gonna have Mahogany start, either we gotta cut Graham Glasgow and try to get an edge, or with that money, because if that's what's stopping us, then why are we keeping him? You know. But with that being said, Brad, I'll pass it over to you.
Uh, yeah, I do think they need a guard. Ragnow, sometimes he's put together with duct tape. Like you said, Glasgow is almost trotting the corpse out there. Mahogany, we don't know. He had a great game against the Bears. So all of a sudden, your two guards, there's question marks there. And if question marks are there, well, I oh, actually, you guys can see me okay. Well, I don't know. So I do think guard needs to be addressed, and it kind of needs to be addressed pretty, I think early. At least a guy like a guy that can like a Booker if he's there, or like a Zaspi if I get his name right from North Dakota State. Would I want edge first? Yeah, I absolutely would. But I wouldn't mind if I wouldn't be up in arms if they went that way with guard. Of course, I want them to trade up for Campbell. Uh, I just don't see I just don't see Holmes staying at 28. I just don't trade up for to get the Campbell guy or trade down and accrue more capital. Um, I talked about Torkelson and Mize being like free agents. Okay. The way I see this now is Hutch only played 4 games, I believe, 4 or 5. I think it was 4. It's like getting a free agent back, in my opinion. We didn't have him. All right. But when did we have him? Was Hutch playing? I don't think he was playing. So we get him back. All right. We talk about Zadarius Smith. Well, first of all, Zadarius Smith is getting married to, I forget what her name is, but she's a pretty famous artist, and she's from Detroit. That could help. Uh, and James, you talk about guys like Campbell and Branch and Gibbs. These guys aren't even entering their prime. Okay, so we're getting some pretty good. We're getting some pretty good guys. Well, not getting. We've had them, but Hutch is coming back. Like I said, that's an addition in my mind. Uh, put it this way: all we had last year was Darius Smith. Right when Hutch went down, we wanted Smith. That's all we had. Okay, so now we got Hutch. All right, if that's all we have, I'd take Hutch over Smith, but they're going to add more. I don't think we should panic because he's going to look to see what he needs to fill after the draft. Also, don't forget the June 1 cuts. There's always somebody that seems to be, a surprise being let go, or just guys that you can pick up, not off the scrap heap, guys that have their, all of a sudden their contracts done. So, but I think that's what he's waiting for before he moves any draft picks. And as far as not really doing anything, um, you know, well, they've got their window, and if their window is going to be long, I mean, if they're not doing anything for 3 to 5 years, their window's there. Like I've said many times, I don't want pushing all chips in to go for a Super Bowl. Ask how that worked out for Arizona. All right. I want the windows like the San Franciscos, the Seattles, the Buffaloes, the Phillies, the Kansas Cities that always have a kick at the can. Okay, that's what I want. Um, let's put it this way. Philly made the Super Bowl. They lost to the Chiefs a couple years ago. They got completely destroyed because of things, because of breakdowns at the end of their year. Sound familiar, by the way? Okay. Then all of a sudden, they lose to Tampa on the road for round one. What happened to us? But whatever. I digress. I don't even think it was a Tampa. I think it was a Philly. So that sounds familiar, and all of a sudden they get back and they go to the Super Bowl and win it. So always have that window, and that window will always be if we don't go out, we don't need the shiny new toys. We need to keep the toys we have. All right. Keep the reliable. I would rather have the devil that we know, the dance with the devil we know, than dance with the devil we don't know. Got a 15-2 football team without anybody really, without Hutch, without McNeil, without Reckhamstraw. I mean, you name it. Reckhamstraw in my mind, and it might be but Reckhamstraw is like getting another draft pick. We didn't have him. Okay, so there's your other draft pick. I don't see the reasoning why Hutch wouldn't be like getting a free agent because again, all we had was Smith. That's all we had. Now all of a sudden we got Hutch. So you put a draft pick there with Hutch, whoever is going to be on that other side is going to eat like crazy because Hutch is going to take the double teams and these guys got one-on-ones. So uh, Brad felt good last year going with Davenport. I know the guy's a China doll. Brad thought it was good. Brad wanted to go in. Brad can do whatever he wants in my mind because I'm going to be 100% behind that guy. All right. Now, was it a risk taking a guy with an injury history? Sure, it was. But I'll tell you what, if Davenport's healthy, when he was healthy and it was so short, he did get a sack. How he played, I mean, he played barely more than Emmanuel Mosley. I still don't think we had Emmanuel Mosley. I just think it was a jersey out there, a ghost. But no, so do they need an edge? Hell yeah, they need an edge. All right, but Davenport's not going to play 16 games. Pascal's pretty good. He's pretty good out there. I mean, if Wingo, I know that's depth. That's flat out depth. So getting Hutch back is huge. I don't know who James. I think you saw it like I do. I don't know who. I think it was called Dub Bears on X, but this is how stupid X people are because the idiot, the absolute buffoon, was saying, "Oh, look, he can't run straight anymore." What? This is the kind of things that we deal with on X. So, um, keep the window open, Brad. Fill in your free agents after the draft, June 1st. Got a shot still at Zadarius Smith. I think is more. We got more of a chance than people might give. Get, like I said, have your draft, get your D end. But Hutch is back, and that's paramount in my book. So
Yeah. So real quick, first thing, right? Out of all the teams you mentioned, only 2 of them won a Super Bowl. Just saying. Philadelphia, how'd they win the Super Bowl? They paid Saquon Barkley $20 million fucking dollars a year. Just saying. Then Kansas City, right? What do? They are known for doing the opposite. When guys want to get paid, what do? Trade them. Tyreek Hill, fuck out of here. Joe Thuney, fuck out of here. They do not give a shit over there in Kansas City, man. As soon as you ask for some money, they're sending you out. So I get your points, and I do understand that you want more kicks at the can and all that. I totally get that because I agree. However, we also need to understand that the NFL is a what have you done for me lately? You know what I mean? So obviously we went 15-2 last year. That's awesome. But look at how we won those games. If you like, we had a few really, really dominant games. But it seemed once Hutch went down, that dominance kind of faltered, especially on the defensive side. We did have a great offense. Sure, don't get me wrong. We had an awesome offense, but we just lost our play caller. I just feel that, no, I'm not saying by any means am I saying that the sky is falling or, we should panic. But I do believe we should look at this from a subjective point of view of, okay, look at the roster we have on paper. It's fucking good, don't get me wrong. There is just one glaring hole, and that is opposite of Hutch. I trust in Brad to make a move to get one, whether it be draft or trade. The only problem I have right now, Brad, is that the draft isn't a 100% for sure going to fucking happen. We could draft somebody and he sucks. So it's like, it would be awesome if we draft somebody and he's fucking just Hutch 2.0, but to be fair, we have seen how Brad Holmes drafts sometimes in that middle, that like late first, early second round, and when it comes to pass rushers. Josh Pascal, he's a good player. Does he really move the needle? No. I mean, he's depth. He's a good depth player, but we're not looking at him and going, Josh Pascal, starting edge across from Hutch, we're good. If that rookie isn't good, we'll be fine. That's the only reason I'm really scared. Because if we were to go sign Zadarius Smith, I have no problems, no qualms. We're good. We're good to go. We're loaded, and I feel great. Which is still a possibility, as we mentioned before. Holmes still is in contact with Smith. So, and as you mentioned, he did just get married to a Detroit artist. So it's kind of, if you count the tea leaves on that one, it does seem like he's coming back. And I would hope he comes back, but you never know. But with that being said, James, I'll pass it to you if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I just had 2 quick points. One, I wanted to jump on what Brad said about one of the many idiots we deal with on Twitter about the Hutch running video, saying he wasn't running straight. If you have eyes and you watch this video, you will notice he serpentines between the numbers. Inside of the 40, outside of the 50, inside the 40, outside the 30. So he wasn't supposed to run straight. Just wanted to throw that out there. And then on the Glasgow front, because of course we do need an edge. In my personal opinion, edge and guard are the 2 biggest needs on the team. Looking over the numbers, and it pains me to say because I like Glasgow. I've seen him at training camp a couple years. I got his autograph when he was at Michigan. I got his autograph again when he was at a Lion at training camp. I've watched him on Twitch play Fortnite and whatnot, which for those who don't know, because he plays other stuff too, I'll give a quick shout out to him. When you watch him, you earn points. If you earn enough points, you can turn those points in for Lions tickets. It costs a whole bunch of points, but you can do it. But what I was going to say is he is right now, as the roster is set, the oldest player on the team, and he is the ninth biggest cap hit on the team. So I love the guy, but he's not a top 10 player on this team. It's one of those things where, and I know I'll get some hate for it because he's like a fan favorite, and I get it. He went to Michigan just like Hutch and all that. He's had a great career. He's been very good for us. Unless he was battling with an injury we don't know about or something, he looked bad last year. And I love the guy, but and he can also play center. So I want to keep him as a backup role, but I'm not paying a backup the ninth most money on the team. I'm just not. So hopefully for edge fixes, we can bring back Zadarius Smith. We of course could draft someone. We don't have to draft a guard in the first round. Guards and I don't know so much pass rushers, but D tackles in this draft are deep. Guards in this draft are fairly deep, at least until like the third round. But I just don't see where we can have Glasgow with his current contract, especially if we're hurting on money on re-signing these guys, because we do have to get Kirby signed. We do have to get Hutch signed eventually in short term, but eventually Branch, JMO, and like it is what it is. We can't afford to pay everyone, but I like you guys said, fully trust Brad Holmes. He hasn't really missed on many draft picks. Even the ones that earlier on we could say were potential bust, like Onzarike, and I was skeptical of Barnes because I don't think he played too well early in his career. Last year, well, 2 years for Barnes now, but last year Onzarike looked extremely good. I think us re-signing him for that 1 year deal was a steal. And then Barnes has really come to life after year three and on for him. So even though they did not look so hot as rookies, they look pretty damn good now. So I would just trust Brett Holmes. He'll figure it out. He can fill in the holes. And of all the Detroit teams and all the Detroit GMs, he's the one I'm least worried about. So I'll just end it on that.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, James. I will say to add on to that, let's just say hypothetically, we can get Von Miller for $9 million on a 1 year deal. Hypothetically, I don't think that's the case, but I would gladly cut Glasgow and go make that move. And then draft a guard in the second round. You can still draft an edge in the first round and get a starter in the second round. And I think we'd be much better off that way. That's just me. But with that being said, Brad, seemed like you had something to add there.
Yeah, I see your point with twos. I mean, Broderick Martin. I mean, I don't like that pick at all. I just don't. Hopefully he develops. I don't think he will. With Pascal, remains to be seen a little bit, but he is a service. He's more than serviceable. I think that guy in the right system could do well. And speaking of the right system, do not forget that Kelvin Shepard is the new defensive coordinator. Don't sleep on Barnes rushing the passer more than people may think because he's pretty good at it. So I would not dismiss. Is he a starter Russian? No, absolutely he's not. But in certain schemes, in certain situations, I don't see the word where the guy can't get 4 or 5 sacks. I would love to have seen him keep playing last year because I think that Glenn was moving around more than usual because, of course, Campbell and Anzalone, were playing great. So he had more of a piece with Barnes. So if Barnes can get even 3 or 4 sacks, that does help. He's not going to be the edge, obviously. I do think Glasgow was a June 1st cut. I really do. Uh, they could switch Glasgow out with a June 1st cut and bring in another June 1st cut that could be cut from another ball club. But I do think they're going to have to bring in not just one but two interior offensive linemen. Mahogany he looks great so far, but remember he was a 6th-round pick, so I'm not dismissing that Campbell that Holmes can't do that. I'm looking at these top 30 visits, top 15 visits. And I know that Jahad Campbell, he visited here. Shamar Stewart's visited here. So, I mean, how many times have we nailed on pick 12? How many times has he rolled the dice and nailed it? We got a guy named Jameer Gibbs, got a guy named Jameson, Jameson Williamson, JMO. I mean, I'd bet some money at Vegas that Shahad Campbell or Shamar Stewart will be on this ball club. The odds, I'd take those odds. He's gonna move up because he knows he's one piece away, no more than one piece away. But this could be Jahad Campbell does so many things. Oh God, he's Will Anderson Jr. He could be Will Anderson Jr. What would Will Anderson Jr. be on this football team right now? Good God. So Campbell's gonna. Dad, I always do it. Brad's gonna Brad. He's gonna be great. He never has missed on a first round draft pick. I don't think he ever will. So let's just hope for the best here, but I don't see Graham Glasgow. No. So I see basically almost what you could say a revamped line. And let's keep in mind Manu has taken leaps and bounds. So he's not going to be a starter, but I think he could plug and play. Don't forget Dan Skipper's still around, the cult hero, but I've never seen Dan Skipper disappoint this team. I've always seen him when he steps in, he does his job, and he does it pretty damn well. I think as a tackle, he could start for about 7 or 8 teams in this league. Okay, so you got Manu for depth, you got Skipper for depth. Who knows? Who knows? So that's really all I got there, though.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I will say on the June 1st cut, I think they would have already done that because now they allow teams to cut guys and then just say their June 1st cuts so that they can, talk to teams. The only way I see Glasgow being cut at this point is if Brad is playing the board, if that makes any sense. Like, if we don't draft a guard in the second round, I think we keep Glasgow, even if we draft one in the third. But I think if we draft one in the second round, Brad will feel confident enough in them to start right away to just cut Glasgow, or at least make him take a pay cut, which who knows if he would. But that's the only way I can kind of see that happening. But with that being said, you do have a good point. He could move up. And I totally understand mixing those names up because imagine if the Lions go draft Jihad Campbell, and now we have Campbell, and Campbell. It's like, oh shit, all right. Fucking Dan's drafting his whole family. No, but with that being said, we will end the show on a quick little NFL update. Sounds like Rodgers is going to Pittsburgh. It's not reported, but everything's pointing to that, and it just kind of feels obvious at this point. And then some draft rumors, okay? It sounds like Tennessee's taking Ward, number 1, okay? The Titans canceled their visit with Shador, so it seems like they just said, we're good. We want Cam. After that, that's when the draft kind of gets fun because I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like in the last few years, the top 5 is pretty much solidified. Like as soon as April 1st comes around, we pretty much know that top 5, even top 10. This year, I don't know, man. I couldn't even tell you the first pick until, last week probably. And then it just gets crazy from there. So Cleveland sounds like they're going to take either Carter or Hunter with the second overall pick. And then it sounds like the Giants will take either Sanders, Hunter, or Carter. Which, who knows? I think the Browns could still take Sanders. It's a possibility. I wouldn't, rule it out by any means, especially with them not signing Russell Wilson like they were planning on. I just feel this draft being a little bit less talented than normal is also a little bit less obvious who's getting drafted where. And the reason I stopped at the third pick is because once you get to 4 and 5, it's like there's like 8 players that they could take. So just a little draft update, just some news updates for you guys on the big stuff. Do you guys got anything to add on that? All right. So with that being said, we appreciate you guys for watching. You can find us on misportsmedia.com. Do not forget, you can get 2 free tickets to the Tigers-Orioles game, April 25th. It's a Friday night, baby, 6:40 p.m., first pitch. Okay, all you got to do is go on misportsmedia.com, hit the donate button at the bottom, put $1, or hit the subscribe button for $1 a month. Do the subscribe one. Trust me, You'll get some cool stuff. But with that being said, hit that. Then you'll enter the giveaway, and you have a chance to win 2 tickets. So hope you guys enter that giveaway and find yourself at a Tigers game not too far from now. But with that being said, Brad Thompson at BT8Ball, Jay Sweet at JSoSweet, James Gullett at Gullett_James, and you can find us all at MI Sports Media and at misportsmedia.com. We appreciate you guys for listening, and we will see you on the next one.